Hey, what's up, guys? WiseGuyVito here, and today I have another list for you guys. This is a little bit different actually. This will be on what Warbond should you buy and which one should you grind for. As always, like, share, and subscribe, and let's get straight into the tier list. So before we start, let's kind of go over the two tiers of this list, which is basically just buy or grind. It's very simple. So these are the ones that you should buy for real money. If you're just now getting the game, these Warbonds are definitely the ones that you should definitely pay money for to get them now and to have fun with them. And, of course, the other ones are basically, this is not really worth your money. In my opinion, you should just grind for them. You can just grind for super credits. There is a way of grinding for super credits very efficiently. I do think at some point they're probably going to fix that. But for the time being, if you guys want a video on how to grind for super credits super efficiently, I can definitely make that video. But, basically these are the two tiers. You either, which ones are worth your money, like your actual real cash you can buy at the super credit store, or which one should you be grinding for. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. So Steel Veterans is kind of like the first one. If you get the super citizen version of the game, this comes for free, so you're basically buying it. In my opinion, this is definitely worth the buy because you get the Senator, you get the Dominator. You actually get some pretty cool armor out of it too. It increases like your throwing distance, which is good in my opinion. You also get the Liberator concussive rifle, which is really good. As I mentioned before, like the Senators, very, very good. Oh, and also you get the Incendiary Breaker, which is, in my opinion, still a very good shotgun. Still, in my opinion, even after the nerf that they made to it, which is decreasing the mag size. There's definitely some armors out there that you can increase the mags or it's not really like the mag size. It's the what you have in reserve. So they decreased it from 6 to 4, but it's still really, really good on the bug side of things. Overall, this is just a really good Warbond. The armor might not be super fantastic, in my opinion. I mean, an increase to throw distance is not that bad, in my opinion. But, for some people, it may not be that appealing. But the weapons in this Warbond are very, very good. You get at least 3 weapons that are, in my opinion, are either A tier or S tier against all the factions in the game, and they feel really, really fun to use. So I want to put this into the buy section. The chemical agents, I do think this is a grind Warbond. It's really not great, in my opinion. You get 2 stratagems. You get I think it's called like the Exterminator or something like that. It's basically just like a flamethrower, but instead it basically poo-poos out chemical gas at people, which is fine. The armor's, not really great either. It's basically for like a particular build that you want to go with, which is, it helps you, or it gives you a resistance to basically gas. You get I think it's called like the dog breath stratagem, which is like a little robot that follows you around and farts on people, which is okay. The color scheme of this is kind of boring in my opinion. It's like black and like a lime green color, which is not particularly great. So in my opinion, like this is actually like on the bottom, in my opinion, of like the Warbonds that you should really be trying to get. So actually, let me move this down at the bottom. I think this is like one of the last ones you should really be buying because it's just that bad of a Warbond in my opinion. I think they should have came out with weapons for this. I think you get a grenade out of this as well. The gas grenade is the only good thing with this Warbond. Yeah, I just remembered that this Warbond has a gas grenade to it. The gas grenade is actually really, really good. It's probably like one of the better grenades in the game, maybe the top 3 or 4 out of the entire game. But is a grenade enough to warrant your cash? In my opinion, not really. You kind of want a Warbond that kind of gives you everything, right? It gives you cool armor with good passives to them and good weapons. And in my opinion, I don't think stratagems should be in a Warbond, and that will kind of affect how I kind of rank things, is whether or not a Warbond has stratagems in them or not, and whether I think you should buy or grind. The cutting edge Warbond, 100% you should buy for. You should definitely buy this Warbond. It is probably the best Warbond, in my opinion, in the game. You get the Blitzer, which is a S tier, super S tier primary against most factions in the game. It's really good on Terminids, and it's really good against the Illuminate. You get the Plasma Punisher, which is like it's not really a shotgun. You basically just lob like these little energy orbs at people, and it explodes on impact. It's really good. You get the Sickle, which is also really good. You get the little dagger pistol, which is like a little, basically think of like as a scythe, but in pistol form. It's pretty good. You get the stun grenade, which at one point was the best grenade in the entire game. I still think it's still a really good S tier utility grenade in the game. You get a good booster out of it as well. The delocalization, it does work. I don't think it's as good as other boosters in the game, but it's fine. The armors are really good as well. They give you basically 95% resistance to anything that's arc damage related. So if a Tesla tower zaps you, it will not kill you, which is really good. It takes maybe a third of your health, if that. So in my opinion, just for the guns and the grenade, I think this is definitely a must buy in my opinion. So I want to put it in the buy section. Democratic Detonation. I do think this is a definite buy in my opinion. You get the crossbow, which is probably top 3 primaries in the entire game. You get the Adjudicator, which is very good. You get the Eruptor. The Eruptor was really good, but now it's no longer really good. It's, in my opinion, it definitely needs a buff. The armor set looks amazing in this game as well. Kind of fits that fantasy of being a hulking guy. Kind of wish they would have went with different passives on this. The pistol for this is the grenade pistol, really good at utility, and you get the thermite grenade. Thermite grenade's also really good, in my opinion. So definitely going to be in the buy section, in my opinion. Freedom's Flame. This might be a controversial take. I do think this is a grind Warbond. You only get really one good thing out of it. Actually, no. You get really 2 good things out of it. You do get the Cookout and the Torture, which are really good primaries. Don't get me wrong, but I think that's where everything else it's kind of meh, in my opinion. You get armor that doesn't give you full resistance. I think any armor that gives you resistance should just give you full resistance. And then anything else in the game that kind of gives you an overall resistance should give you a percentage of resistance. If they made fire, or if they made the armor give you full 100% fire resistance, I would actually put it in buy, because there's actually some really cool kind of builds you can do with fire builds. But for the time being, in my opinion, I don't think the Cookout and the Torture is really worth it, in my opinion. Even though I do think that the Cookout's really good, it's definitely an S tier weapon. The Torture is only good, in my opinion, against Terminids. And the little flame pistol as well, which is just a flamethrower in your hand. It's okay as well, but it's only good against Terminids, right? The booster's not that great. I wish it was really good. The booster's actually very interesting. Whenever you land in a hell pod, or whenever you throw anything that has a hell pod attached to it, whenever it lands down, it explodes. I wish the explosion was way bigger and actually burned people and stuff like that, or I think that adds a mix of chaos into the mix, and I really like that a lot. But for whatever reason, they don't want to buff this booster too much. They did buff the damage to it, and at one point it was bugged, and it wasn't doing any damage whatsoever. So, in my opinion, I think Freedom's Flame is definitely, in my opinion, and you guys can let me know down in the comment section. To me, Freedom's Flame is definitely a grind type of Warbond instead of a buy. Polar Patriots, believe it or not, I actually do think that's a buy. You get the Tenderizer, which is really good. You get the Purifier, which is really good. It is probably the best primary in the entire game right now. The Verdict, which is probably the best sidearm in the game. I mean, some people would probably argue that the Senator. I like the Senator as well. But to me anyways, the best all-arounder is definitely the Verdict. And the Pummeler. Pummeler's good. It's not as good as what it used to be whenever it first came out. But the stun is still there. The armor sets aren't actually that bad. They are kind of boring, but they're not too bad in my opinion. I do think that the weapons really carry this. You also get the impact incendiary grenade, which is also really good. It's really good against bugs. It's actually decent against automatons, believe it or not. So definitely is, in my opinion, a definite buy if you're going to be buying, or if you're thinking about buying something in the future. But you guys let me know what you think down in the comment section about Polar Patriots on whether or not it's actually like a buy or a grind. Truth Enforcers. I want to put this in buy really, really badly, but I'm gonna have to put it in grind. It has really good drip, like really good drip. And in my opinion, the drip is definitely worth the buy, but drip isn't everything, right? So the armor gives you unflinching. The unflinching is meh. I kind of wish there was a different passive for this, rather than just unflinching, because I can't really feel a difference in my opinion. The Hull is really good. Is a really good shotgun. A lot of people shit on the Hull. I think the Hull is very good against all the factions in the game. The Reprimand is an okay SMG. It's got some bullet deviation for whatever reason. So like whenever you're aiming at something, even in first person, the bullet wants to deviate. It doesn't and won't go in a straight line. The Loyalist, which is like the little Purify pistol, is actually not that bad either. The Booster's not that bad either. With dead sprint, so basically whenever you're sprinting, whenever you run out of sprint, you can still sprint, but you start to lose health, right? In my opinion, if this was just pure drip factor, I would definitely put it in a buy, right? But in my opinion, really two of the weapons are really, really good, and the armor just looks really good. But I would have to put it in grind because I don't think there's anything wow about this other than just the drip of this Warbond. So I'm going to put it in grind. Again, you guys let me know what you guys think about the Truth Enforcer. Urban Legends is going to have to be a grind for me. The reason why is because the only weapon that you really get out of this is a stick, a pokey stick, which pokey stick's not that bad, Like this is the first Warbond that actually introduced melee weapons, But in my opinion, like the rest of them is just stratagems. The stratagems are great, don't get me wrong, but I think stratagems should only be really for major orders, and they should not be in Warbonds, right? So in my opinion, if Airhead's not going to learn their lesson about what they should be putting in Warbonds and what they should not be putting in Warbonds, in my opinion, you should punish them for it by basically saying, okay, I'm not going to buy this. I'm just going to grind for it because they're not getting money at that point, right? The armor is actually really good. Armor is probably like an S tier armor set, which is you get more magazines and you can reload faster with your primaries. Very, very good. Very, very, very good armor set. But in my opinion, again, what really kills this for me, or like this particular Warbond, what kills it for me is the fact that is the stratagems. I don't think the stratagems should be in the Warbond. That should be major order stuff. That should be stuff that I should be grinding for, for major orders as a community, right? And I wish that they would kind of put more stratagems into the game that way, because that's really like the late stage part of the game, in my opinion, as of now. And until they do something with the late stage part of the game, they really should not be putting stratagems in a Warbond. Viper Commandos, definitely going to be a grind for me. The Liberator Carbine is not great. I think it's actually okay against Terminids, but it definitely needs something to kind of set it, set it apart from everything else, right? The Bushwhacker is actually pretty cool. It's basically just a pocket shotgun. It has 2 firing modes. You fire 1 barrel at a time. It has 3 shots to it, or you can fire all barrels, so 3 barrels at once, which is really good. Throwing knife is not great, in my opinion. I believe this is the one where you get the stem booster. The stem booster is S tier. It's super fucking good. The armor set's also really, really good in this one as well. And the drip factor on this one is also really good as well. It kind of gives you like Predator vibes, I guess. But in my opinion, this is more of like a cosmetic Warbond, because like this is when we got things like like the ship was a different color, or like you can make your ship a different color. You can make your hellbot or like your hellpod a different color. You can make your walkers different, or like your mechs different colors, right? In my opinion, that's really a grind for me. I kind of wish there was like a little bit more to this Warbond. If they added another primary to this one, I would probably say it would be a buy. And if that primary was good, I would definitely put it in a buy section. But for the time being, having a really good, like armor set and a really good booster, really, and like a kind of a cool secondary isn't enough for me to say, yeah, like this is definitely like a must buy. But in my opinion, this is definitely kind of like a grind type of Warbond. So you guys let me think what you guys think is a grind or a buy, or a grind Warbond down in the comment section down below. As always, like, share, subscribe. I would definitely like to hear your opinions about this, because I think this is, for the most part, I think this is what everyone's been thinking. But you guys let me know what you think. Differences in opinions always welcome, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.